meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Well, we're so excited for you to show us around.
Glad we can do that. Here we have the office. Karen, who does a lot of the quoting and estimating, and Eric, who pretty much runs the office for us.
Good morning.
And we were able to purchase a building here and remodel it, and now we have a fabulous workroom doing work for designers only. This is where we receive our goods every day when it's delivered to us, and we mark it in, record it, and also put it in a computer system, so we have daily access to what is in stock here in the workshop. For anybody that wants to call and say, did I receive a fabric? We have an updated computerized system to do that. Over here we have our cutting table. In the cutting table we have an inspection light, so we always flip our fabric up over the top, and then what we do is pull it over our light so you can see if there's any flaw in the fabric. We're lucky to be able to inspect the fabric. We measure it out at that point and often mark our cuts. Then we put it on the racks that are behind us and go from that point. The office generates a work order for every item that we put through the workroom. There's a little tag we cut off on the bottom to be able to put it on the hanger and tag it as it's finished. Their installer information is a little different than the workroom information. So they go through on two different paperwork, but all the numbers are coordinated so they can match all numbers between the installer, the workroom, and the office. Now, this table is long enough so when we have, a width and a half, 2 widths, we stack them from where they're cut on the other side. They can just lay them down. We start from the bottom and just serge them and pull them back and forth. On our sergers here, we have a puller that will pull the fabric through. So if you're serging, and you can see it goes underneath the puller, and the puller is geared to be the same speed as sewing. So it actually pulls the fabric through. Then we have the racks over here that just all our finished draperies are done, and then we just alphabetize it by the customer's name. So that's just finished here, ready to go out. And we just have shelves here, and then we put the names on the erasable board for the installer can just go grab it. And it's right here nearby, and then it takes it out the back door, and he's on his way. Okay, back here we have John, who's been here going on to 30 years, who basically strings all our shades, does cornice work, does a little bit of everything for me. This is just what he did on Friday. He planted angle irons on the wall just so he knows it's all plumb and hanging well and operating well, so the installer doesn't have too much to do with the house.
I loved working with John when I was here for those 2 years because no matter what you brought him, he could fix for you. And he also does all the pleating and tacking after they've tabled the panels. He can do welt cord by the mile. And when I was here, he was the king of the bump panels, and so you had to follow his direction. He was very picky about it. He's our go-to. This company would not make the shades to go in a bay. So now John has to modify these boards and all to go in the bay.
And it's a motorization problem. They won't put motors on such small shades. That was the finished product. But I got to get it angled, stripped down, cut down, angled, and stick a motor in here, probably restring it to program it.
When we bought the building, there was this strap door here, so it just became a very efficient thing for something extra long.
Yeah, we can hang up to about 230 inches long of drapery.
The floor was concrete and it needed some attention. The carpet we put in is basically what they call a twist carpet. It does not have the loops that many carpets do, so the loop carpet catches your staples and you can't vacuum them out. My thing is when a drapery is on the floor, off the end of your table, is it better just to use the carpet, vacuum the carpet, and you don't have the lint and dust that often blows around on a tile floor.
This is kind of where we'll do any painting, any kind of messy stuff to stay away from the fabric, we'll hang stuff up. All my shade stuff, get it marked right. Now, if everyone puts it back where it's supposed to go, then you'll hear me yelling again. And so this is where where I build everything, any kind of building we need to do. All my stock wood ordered in. I got my air tank, which I got running that I can use in the other room. I got it all running up through the ceiling to where I can use my staple gun or nail gun in the other room. Come back out here, and this is our a lot of our stock inventory. Taylor, our installer. It's easy for him just to back up, load his truck up. It's another day in paradise.
We have markers and measure tapes on both sides of all our tables. So part of the training for new people is to use your table and the measurements on the table. We put our hems in first, and then we will slide our ruler into the hem, which gives us the ability to be able to pull for our finished length and clamp it to our table, and don't really need to put a lot of pins in the bottom to keep things straight. For blackout lining, we do not hem the bottom. If we try to use the 110-inch extra wide lining as much as possible, leave the salvage edge at the bottom. And the pleats hang so much better because you don't have all the bulk at the bottom. When we built all our tables here in the workroom, we put them all on casters, as you can see, and so everything's movable. We can do the 4 widths, 5 widths going this way. If we have a long drapery, we often turn it and put the drapery hem on the end of the table and pull it out the far long length, because if I can do a 200-inch drapery all laying on the table for at least 2.5 widths without moving it, it becomes much easier and much straighter. Put a little sticky tape on the clear crinoline that we use on the top, just so there's some stability when they flip the fabric over. They have a casement fabric that you can somewhat see through, so we asked them to cut what color lining, and they decided to do a camel color so that the fabric color blended into the room correctly. That's just, one of the details that we try to do as a custom workroom.
I'm pressing on the edge, not on the blackout, because if we see, looking at you. Okay, I have one layer without blackout, and then we fold it one time, because we are gonna fold it second time.
I grew up in a family that had a drapery business and it manufactured draperies, and I had a family. I have a brother in Cincinnati that had a workroom and a brother in Adelphus that had a workroom. I came to Cleveland and went to college here in Cleveland, and from there I had a job with a department store here in Cleveland, and I was put in charge of their drapery workroom. And at that point, it was a large workroom at the department store, and it was in their main headquarters. And they ran about 25 ladies in the workshop, and they had 5 full-time installers. So yeah, that's where I got so much of my training of being able to run a business and all, because you were working in an environment that created that for you, and you learned systems. So that's why we created the system here of the paperwork flow, how the filing is done, and how each order needed to be attached to the fabric and all as it went through the workroom, because you were dealing with multi-people, and how it all came back together. So my business started one day as I left my other job, and somebody asked me to do some work for them, and I did, and within a few weeks I had work that kept me busy and my bills paid. I give the credit to the quality, the service, as the business grew, and it has been very successful.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we've been using sailrite tape because
One more time. There's a blooper.
I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah, I think of something.
Can you imagine we do upholstered walls too? It sounds
Oh,
like we
yeah,
can-
he
sounds like we
upholsters
can do-
walls.
I can edit out 90% of that.
That's awesome. That was great.